Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, back again with you guys for another show, another episode of our tactical breakdown series in which we look at the players that Arsenal could, should, maybe, and fingers crossed, hopefully you'll see signing for the Gunners come this summer. And today's episode we'll be talking about a player which, I mean, if I'm very, very honest, I highly doubt that it will work, that it will happen. But I wanted to break him down because a lot of you have been requesting this to talk about Wilfried Zaha. And there are some caveats to the deal which could happen. I mean, first of all, you've got to think about if we do manage to sell some players and recoup some money into our budget, then maybe there is an opportunity that we could put enough money together to put a package deal towards Crystal Palace to see Wilfried Zaha come to Arsenal. And the whole thing is that we're being told by the likes of David Ornstein that Wilfried Zaha wants the move. We're very keen on him. Unai Emery likes the player a lot. And those sort of in combination usually lead to something happening. Whether we'll actually see it happening this summer, I'm not sure. Fingers crossed, because I think if we were to sign the likes of Wilfried Zaha, it would bring us, a lot more success in that area. I think he's got a lot of quality. And when I go into the tactical breakdown of the player, you're going to see all about him and how he stacks up against some of our own players like Alex Iwobi. But before we do, please obviously give the video a like if you're enjoying the series, subscribe if you're new, and of course leave those comments in the description, because the comments have been fantastic as always, and the debate that's been going on in there, some of the interaction that's been in there has been really, really great. So much appreciate those. So yeah, please like and subscribe with those notifications turned on so you never miss a show and you get notified immediately when one of these new shows drops for you. So let's get straight into the video and talk about the English turned Ivorian in terms of his classification, Wilfried Zaha, and what he's like as a player. So last season, 10 goals and 10 assists in the Premier League for a side like Crystal Palace, who are, let's face it, a team which are in fear of relegation every single season. It seems that they're in the league, but they always seem to come out of it and put quite a buffer between themselves and the drop, it seems. So they're always looking to sort of move ahead and move up and try and break into that sort of the team that's basically known as being a Premier League side without any sort of danger, the likes of Watford, the likes of Leicester, these sort of teams, the likes of Everton, maybe. And when you're looking to be that type, you need to hang on to your best players, which is why they've been reluctant to sell him. The likes of Aaron Wan-Bissaka has left and gone to Manchester United for around £50 million, which is another incentive for them not to sell, because they've already lost one of their best players. But, I mean, you can't really turn down a fee in the likes of £80 million, because you can definitely bring in a lot of quality for the combined fees of those two players to bring Crystal Palace into that era of mid-table teams that are legitimised as a Premier League club. And his 10 goals and 10 assists last season definitely went all the way into doing that. If you compare that to the player that he would replace in the Arsenal team, most likely being Alex Iwobi on that left wing, he got 6 goals and 9 assists, which still a decent return. But as we know, a lot of people have a lot of issues with Alex Iwobi. They have a lot of issues with his ball retention and his final ball and his final decision making, which we're going to come on to in a little bit. And there's good reason for that. And Zaha definitely improves him in those positions. When we talk about the guy, 26 years old, so he's coming into the prime years, you always think of him as still quite a young player, especially considering he had that move to Manchester United, which didn't go too well. Obviously re-signed for Crystal Palace and has gone on to develop into a really good player because he's getting minutes. And if you give some players minutes, they flourish, and that's certainly what happened to Wilfried Zaha. So let's go through some of the stats. First of all, his positioning. Then you can see from the heat map on the screen, compared that to Iwobi, that he plays on that left wing most often. He likes being a right-footed inverted winger, cutting inside, getting good shots off, hitting them near post, playing balls across the box, finding players very well. He does it extraordinarily well. And for a player that's playing in a team with a restricted amount of quality surrounding him, he stands out for sure amongst the rest of those, which is why he's been quoted as such the intense fee that he's been shown there. So when you look at actually his stats and his attacking stats, what I'm going to do is just show you on the screen now how he stacks up against Iwobi. I'm not going to read them out for you because I know you're not an idiot. But in terms of where he's at, attacking side, Zaha, he's got more shots, he's higher XG, higher crossing accuracy, he does more dribbles than what Iwobi does, his dribble success rate is higher than Iwobi, his offensive duels he's better than, and the amount that he wins of those, and he has more touches in the box than what Alex Iwobi does. On Alex Iwobi's side, he actually has better shot accuracy, but he sets up more shots than Zaha does. He puts in more crosses, He is offside less than what Zaha is, and he makes more progressive runs. So whilst most of the stats lean in the Ivorians' favour, Iwobi still does come in with a better shot accuracy and setting up more available chances with the shot assists. So there's that to take into account, but you have to remember that Iwobi is playing in a very possession-based team with a lot more quality around him, and that's probably why. And when we come on to talk about the goals that he scored, it's about the chances that he takes. You can see on the screen now some of the goals that he scored this season. Some are from outside the box. They're always seemingly from him cutting inside. One that he hits across the keeper. The goal that he scored against us, which was very, very painful to witness, but that was more down to absolutely lacklustre defending from the likes of Squadron Mustafi. But he turns away and he finishes very, very well. And he does that on a regular occasion. 10 goals from a wide position is very, very strong. And we need that type of goal output from someone who's playing in that wide position, and the assist that he brings as well. And we'll come on to his passing in a second. The 10 assists on wide positions is great. And it's just that physicality that he has, his dribbling, the take-ons that he has, his final ball, his final decision-making, the way that he bursts past players with such strength and speed before getting into a position where he can either take a shot or lay the ball across the box, like you see in this example here, where he's finding players and the final ball is good. It's not having to rely on luck and gamble, and whilst there's a bit of trickery to Iwobi's game, his final ball lets him down time after time, and that's what gets so many fans so frustrated with Alex Iwobi. But you saw from the stats there that Iwobi has covered himself in a little bit of glory this season, has backed himself up with some of his statistics, and his goal and assist output last season was strong. So you can't really criticise Iwobi too much in that area, but Zaha is far and away better. It's clear to see in many aspects there. When you look at his passing then, Zaha, Iwobi actually passes more often, but you'd expect that from the amount of possession that Arsenal have. Their accuracy of passing is very similar. Long passes, again, Iwobi makes more, but Zaha has better accuracy. This is the same story of his through passes. Iwobi does more, but Zaha is more accurate with those, and crosses as well. Iwobi crosses more, but Zaha's accuracy of his crossing is better. He does, though, do more passes into the final third, and their accuracy is about the same. That's Iwobi doing more passes into the final third, but it's where the passes into the box comes to the fore, because whilst Iwobi does more passes into the box, Zaha's accuracy in that area is good. He's really good at spotting players in certain positions that make him runs, and he picks out those guys in the box when he needs to on a much more accurate occasion than what Iwobi does. And Iwobi receives more passes than Zaha. And although Zaha is this talismanic figure for Crystal Palace, because Arsenal are in so much more possession than Crystal Palace, that is why we see Zaha not getting on the ball as often in the 90 minutes than what Iwobi does, because he's just passed two out more often. So in terms of losses and recoveries, they're exactly identical in how many times they lose the ball and recover it, and how many times it's done in the opposition's half, and how many times it's recovered in their half and lost in his own half. They're very similar in that aspect. So if it is a winger that you want to be joining Arsenal that's losing the ball as often as Alex Iwobi does, then you're going to see that with Wilfried Zaha as well. Now, the difference is obviously, as I said, that he receives the ball a lot less than what Iwobi does because he's not in possession as much. But the fact he's still losing it at the same percentage of the time that he gets the ball is slightly concerning, especially if you're going to spend 80 million on a player. Someone who's quite a selfish player like Zaha when he's on the ball, although he did get those 10 assists, he is still thought of as a very selfish player that likes to take on people. Then it's concerning if he's losing the ball that many times. And so if you're going to be in that position where you're spending that amount of money on someone, maybe it's something to think about, that we should be looking at someone else who's less selfish, like the likes of Ryan Fraser, who would definitely be a lot cheaper than the Ivorian would. So in sort of conclusion about where I'm at, again, like I said at the start of the video, I think it's a highly unlikely deal, especially considering our budget, especially considering the fact that we don't have that money, that we can't really spend the money on that unless we manage to sell some of our big earners like Mkhitaryan, Ozil and Mustafi. If you turn around to me and said, would you swap Mustafi, Mkhitaryan and Ozil for Zaha? Because I'm imagining that's how much money it would recoup to get him. It's a tough one, because it's a lot of depth, and maybe because you're bringing in players like Bielik, bringing in players like Nelson and Amici and Saka who can cover those positions, would it be worth it? Maybe it would, because they just don't give you the same amount of output as what Zaha would, and we're hopefully bringing in the likes of Saliba to come in next season, and maybe bringing in someone else in that role as well in the coming weeks. hopefully fingers crossed, maybe I would do that. Let me know in the comments though. Would you swap Mustafi, Ozil and Mkhitaryan in a swap deal for Zaha? It's completely hypothetical, I know, but I'm just intrigued about where you'd be at, because that's the amount of money that we would have to recoup if we wanted to bring someone like Zaha in. We'd be looking to sell those three. Would it be worth selling those three to spend all that money on one player? I think it might possibly be. But I'd like to get your thoughts in the chat box below, in the comment box, so please do. But tell me what you thought of the video. If you've liked it, great. I much appreciate it, and give it a like and subscribe if you're new around here. Leave your thoughts in the comments about who you think I should be covering in next episode tomorrow. That will be coming out similar time again. But I hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you again very soon. You can follow us on Twitter at the Gooner Talk, TV, and on Instagram, the Gooner Talk. So please go follow us on all those areas. There's lots of debate going on, lots of fun, lots of laughter. So join us there. We'll see you again very soon. And as always, up the Arsenal.